La charla inaugural es la de Nick Pelling. Él viene de Inglaterra y es considerado el padre de la gamificación. Él se considera un creador de videojuegos de la vieja escuela, es ingeniero de software y es el padre de la gamificación porque él fue el que creó e inventó esta palabra y la utilizó por primera vez en el 2003, junto con UNDRA, que es la primera agencia de gamificación del mundo. Él está aquí hoy en Barcelona para hablarnos del pasado y del presente de la gamificación. Así que un fuerte aplauso para Nick Pelling.
Some slides, please. Hello. Right, I'm Nick Pelling, and I invented this, sort of. Well, you'll see, you'll see. Well done, everyone. So I'll give a little talk on past and present. So part one, I can't see that, is what happened in the past, and part two is right now. So we'll see. But the first part, I want to tell you a story about gamification and my first $10 billion. I don't dress rich, but anyway. So back in 2003, I'd been in the games industry for 20 years. I'd made all kinds of games for all kinds of platforms, all kinds of things, from tiny little ones to huge ones, Duke Nukem, Wing Command, all kinds of things. And I got bored. You do something for 20 years, it's time for a change. So I was doing an MBA, and when you do an MBA, they teach you all kinds of things. They teach you to find the value of things, the net present value. They teach you about core competencies, what you're really good at. What's the company really good at? What are you really good at? And so I had this point where I'd been doing games for 20 years, and my MBA said, well, what are you good at? What are you all about? And I thought, I don't know. You know, it was a bit of a puzzle, really. And I thought, well, actually, what's the games industry good for? What's it good at? What's its value? And about then, I realized that MBAs are kind of asking the wrong question. If you're an entrepreneur, the right question is, where's all this going? What's the future? That's where the real value is. What's the future of all this stuff? All these games. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, actually, something really big is going on. Something unbelievably big. Games culture. Back in 2003, games culture was taking over the world. It was changing the way people use devices, the way they relate to devices, the way they think about things, the way they talk about things. Games culture wasn't just like a little hobbyist add-on to the rest of the culture. Games culture was spreading in. And it was at this point where I thought, there's something even bigger happening. Now, 2003 was the start of the first digital download platforms, a thing called Steam, by a company called Valve. Now, Steam now has 75% of every downloaded commercial game. That's a really big number. And so, but they were starting it. And I was thinking through the implications of this. Digital downloads, fast, easy-to-use devices, easy-to-use handsets. This was a whole new thing. And really, there wasn't a word for it. Games culture was reprogramming society. Games culture was coming in. And the way that people make games was a really persuasive business model as well. Okay, if you're Sony or Nintendo or Microsoft with your Xbox, and you want to spend however many billion making a new games console, you can't make all the software yourself. You can't do it. You know, Nintendo has more money than Scandinavia in the bank, and it can't do it. So it has to create a platform for people to put games on, a digital content platform. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, digital content platform, easy-to-use devices, this is something really, really big. This isn't games, this is everything. This is the whole, and there wasn't a word for it, but it's a revolution. Absolute revolution. I'm sitting there thinking, why is it that I can see this and nobody else can? There isn't a word for it, and I call it gamification. Now, for me, gamification isn't a thing you do to a website. It isn't a thing you do to a company. It isn't a thing you do to something. Gamification was what the games industry was doing to everything else. Moore's Law, beautiful, easy-to-use devices. These things were absolutely going to take over the world. And I was sat there, sitting in my stupid little house, thinking, oh my God, this is gamification. This isn't like a small little thing. This is the biggest thing ever. And I sat there thinking, what can I do? What can I do? You know, I've got all this experience, and I can make brilliant games, and I'm doing an MBA, and I can see all this stuff, and it's happening right now. What can I do? So I did the stupidest thing possible. Most pathetic, ridiculous, self-serving, nonsensical thing I could do, which was form the first gamification startup. Oh yes. Number one. I called it Conundra. Okay, this is the stupidest consulting startup name you can come up with, honestly. That was the days of Accenture and all that stuff. Oh, that's terrible. But no one was interested. No one would talk. Nothing. I tried loads of people. I made loads of presentations. But there's a reason why they probably weren't very interested. Because my slides were shit. Absolutely shit. And the problem is, when all of a sudden you're trying to talk to people about collaborative business models, how you will work with this person to do this for this market in this context, people's eyes glaze over. They go. And when they see slides like this that kind of play to their worst fears of how rubbish consulting can be, they say, no, really sorry, we just don't get it. But actually, this wasn't a small thing. I was right. It was a really, really, really big thing. This was my $10 billion moment. This is when I saw a whole market open up in front of me, and I'm going, I can't get to it. Anyway, the two things that really drove me back then was immersive interface design. What we now call UX, user experience, all that kind of stuff. But back then, there wasn't a word for it, but now it's UX. But really, if someone sat there with their device, no matter how big it is, tiny to huge, or big screen, or cinema, or whatever, as long as they're immersed in it, it's a different category of experience. And so that's one thing that I was taking from the games industry. But the main thing was digital content platforms. Now, there are a few of these now. You may have heard of them. iTunes, App Store, Google Play, Kindle, Steam. Huge. Absolutely, unbelievably huge. But this is what I was looking at. So gamification for me in 2003 was this first wave of digital content stuff. Now, there were some winners. And there's only one winner. One company took the stuff that I was looking at, picked up that ball, and ran! And ran so far with it, they almost reinvented business. You know who they are. So, I have a big round of applause for gamification winner number one. Apple. Didn't they do well? Look at it. That's gamification. Slick, easy-to-use interfaces. The ultimate in digital content platforms. iTunes and App Store. What are they thinking of? They're thinking of how they can change the world. It's brilliant. That was the gamification I had in mind. Of course, there were some losers. In 2006, yes. After 3 years of kicking a wall, I kind of threw in the towel and went on to other stuff. But, you know, there's winners and losers and everything. Anyway, enough ancient history. What you're interested in is gamification 2014 style. There's a big thing's happened in the decade since then, and that's social media. And for me, gamification 2014 style is kind of a combination of the games industry culture washing over society as a general, combined with social media. It's the two things together. It's a kind of social take on everything. But really, I'm not going to say this, there's a bit of a bad smell around gamification sometimes, though. Getting people to do things they don't want to do and just persuading them in funny little gadgety ways and stuff. And when people talk about it, that kind of comes up a bit. And really, giving them, what's the word? Yeah, medals, that was it. Give them little medals. But, I think actually gamification is something much bigger than that. Much, much bigger. What does my notes say? Yes. That's a bit cynical, don't say that. And really, Gartner says, gamification market is expected to be worth £3.3 billion. That's what? Quite a lot of money. But I think actually, they might have missed the boat a bit. I think Gartner, I think it's worth $10 billion, my magical figure, right now. And that there are companies using gamification in ways that change their business and change their work. It's entirely central to how they do things that you never think of, but they're there. So I've got I'll say my definition of gamification. From a supply side, from a programmer side, I see it as a kind of exploring the fuzzy social interface between psychology and programming. You have to be good at psychology, you have to be good at programming, but that's kind of like a programmer kind of sat there thinking about gamification type definition. Andre's good at this kind of stuff. But from a business development, you might say, building software to encourage people to act in constructive social ways. I quite like that. That kind of like starts to get towards what it's all about. And so my heroes aren't perhaps what you expect. My gamification heroes, Kickstarter. I think that's a really, really big, hugely gamified platform. It's a digital content platform, sort of, but it's not so much that as a social platform for connecting people who want to give money to people who need money for creative projects. That's a real social bringing together, doing stuff type thing. It's very active. And I love this. So for me, this kind of gamification isn't about social media. It's about social action, or social activity. It's not political, it's just doing stuff. I mean, Kickstarter has changed charity or philanthropy from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation curing cancer to just making an album happen for your favourite band. Big, big difference. The world's changed. And they've $1 billion pledged. People say, oh, it's a phenomenon. A phenomenon. What a stupid word. It's not a phenomenon. It's part of a big wave of stuff that's happening right now. Number 2, AngelList. I've spent a lot of years running startups of one sort or another. And it's a big issue how you fund startups, how the angels get together with entrepreneurs and startups, how that kind of social interface works. And that's a big problem. And it's always been a problem. But AngelList, I think by the end of next year, I think they'll have had over $1 billion committed to startups, to many more startups. It's just starting to absolutely explode. But this is a social problem that their platform, their very nice to use platform, has made it possible on a huge scale. It's not kind of just a niche, bijou little thing. It's huge, absolutely huge. And okay, another one, Alibaba. Sourcing product. I've worked in manufacturing for many years. And sourcing product from around the world is really difficult. Alibaba connects tiny buyers all over the world with small to mid-size Chinese manufacturers. What a great bit of social engineering that is. What a bit of social glue. And they make it really, really easy. So these are the things. I'll sit on the plane thinking, oh no, I've missed a slide. My gamification hero number 4 is Match.com. Things like nudges and winks and all that stuff and blowing kisses at people virtually within their little Gamified. It's a gamified environment. It's a gamified environment. And they're making millions and billions of pounds out of this. These are gamification happening right now. Gartner doesn't see it, but I see it. So what I'm getting at is that, for me, what gamification is not what gamification is, but what it's for. What's it for? Building easy-to-use social action platforms. Platforms that join people together and get people to do things. It's not getting them to just click a button. It's moving to action. And I think this is like a huge, huge mind shift that people haven't really got their heads around yet. I think gamification in this kind of, careful, context is much, much bigger than anyone really understands yet. There are so many ways that people join together awkwardly that haven't been touched yet. I mean, I say about Kickstarter and Alibaba and Match.com and stuff, and there are loads of others that are in those markets. So they're all big things. But they're just the beginning. For me, this new kind of social gamification has only just begun. And I don't know much about it. I'm sat there on my chair going, I can see all this stuff. This is great. But you're the ones who are doing all this. You're out there making stuff and trying stuff and pushing stuff together and gluing things together that weren't glued, that were unstuck. This is great, but it's hard work. And who can really do that? What kind of person who would have the kind of programming, business, psychology, that mixture of technology smarts and personal smarts to kind of fit all that together? I'm not sure that's the kind of thing I could do. That's what you do. Good for you. I think you're Superman. I really do. Anyway, that's the end. Brief, but sweet. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Right. You mentioned that back in 2003, that the real question was where the whole thing is going. And you say that now in 2014 we are at social integration platforms and so on. But we all know here, or most of us that are related to gamification are aware that this is going on right now. But where are we going from now on, from your perspective?
Yeah. Okay. I think the world is, as I say, connected together socially in lots of awkward ways. There are lots of markets and places and things that people don't do very well. The interface between young people and old people, for example, and assisted living is a huge, huge thing. What does socially assisted living mean? People think about assisted living as being a thing of technology, of like chair lifts and like Zimmer frames and things that help people who are old and infirm. But that's assisted living. Socially assisted living is, what about their mental life? What about their connections with people? How do you improve that? And I see that's an example of the way that the world isn't yet connected socially. We have phones, we have camera phones and FaceTime and all kinds of things, but we're not connected properly yet. So we're only starting. The roads of social connectivity is too often thought of in terms of just social media, but actually it's much, much broader than that. So that's kind of a bigger picture, yeah.
Hello, thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
My question is about how are we going to measure the evolution of the development of these techniques? As far as I understood from your presentation, you were mentioning that we have to make like a kind of successful social interaction, like games, etc. So I understand, and it's very crystal clear for me how we can measure the evolution of this, of this gamification process. But I was wondering, what are the tools that you foresee that we can use in the development of these technologies? I was thinking about, I don't know, cognitive neuroscience, maybe emotional tools, behavioral tools, I don't know, that help us for the development of this thing.
I have no idea. And to be honest, I came here to find out. I'm a delegate just as much as you are. No, you've got great speakers today, and I hope from things that they tell you that you can form your own answer about where things are going. I mean, I gave my talk on the past and the present, but the future, well, it's down to them, really. I'm just the warm-up act, not an oracle.
Thanks for your talk. It was like pretty great.
Thank you.
If you can give just like a picture more on like the gamification, more for like social projects or good examples that you can say that is being well used.
I have a number of friends who work on gamification projects, and often in healthcare, and most of them in healthcare, and they struggle with not with the technology so much as with the politics, the way that changing behaviours is as much a political project as technical. And one thing that we can all do is to make gamification more visible, so that it's not a kind of a big, oh my God, what's going on type transition. But people can see that very often the gamification can be an increment, an improvement on the things they already do, not necessarily a whole transformation. So that's the things that my friends tell me. But I don't do it. So I don't really know.
Hello. So if you had to start again your conundrum project, what would be the main thing you will do different other than the presentations?
Good question. Number one is not do stupid slides. Okay, that's the easy bit. The hard bit is who to work with. Back in 2003, when I saw the landscape opening up before me, I thought that I could kind of find a place within it. But what I came to realise was that in a lot of cases, the opportunities were much, much bigger than I could reach myself. So it was more of a partnership thing. And I would say, well, who are you partnered with to make a difference? And that's what I would start with partnerships. And I'll start with talking, making presentations, and making partnerships before trying to do a lot of work. Because you're not really very empowered as a consultancy kind of thing. You have to say, well, who am I working with to amplify my own and their power? Kind of politics. So that's what I do.
Un fuerte aplauso para Nick Pelling.
Thank you.